And good morning on your Thursday, February the 12th, 6:01 Eastern Standard Time. Happy good morning to you. Coming on a little at 6 this morning. Basically, a little bit later. I've been coming. Some days I come on early, 5:30. Some days around 6. All depends on what the morning is going to look like for me. So I hope you had a good night. I got to bed really late, but I'm good to go and feeling good. And had a good time with all the shows last night. And shout out to Dean Chaser Potts, Dusty, Poff Racing. Had a great time with them and through two shows. And Dean popped in the third show. So had a good time. And today we'll have, this evening at 6 o'clock, we'll have Wolf Nation Adventures. Basically, all things adventures, like adventure spirit, your dreams, things you'd like to do. We talk about a little bit of everything on there, but it's really living out your adventure, whatever that adventure is. Wolf Nation, have a lot of fun with that, and then followed right behind it after a few minutes of break, Cornbread Nation. I'm gonna try to squeeze a history show in as well if I can get it tonight. If not, it'll be Friday night. So we're going to get back in our history series and looking forward to that and continuing with the Battle of Chickamauga. We're soon to be moving to a new battle area of history, the war between the states. But anyway, happy morning to you, and let's get our Bible verse today. We always start out that first thing, and let me share the screen so everybody can see this wonderful, and it really is one of the verses. Like you can quote scripture. this is one everybody should know. It's really easy to remember, and you really start learning it as a child with some of the songs and stuff you do, as at least I did in the churches I grew up in, and many that I've been involved with. But let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Of course, that wonderful Sermon on the Mount, and there are so many good verses in that in that chapter, and it's one of my favorite. And it's just one of those you think of all the little songs you can sing with that. And I love that scripture. And really everywhere you go, everybody has a tough day. Everybody has tough times. You just kind of you want to let your light shine. You really do, and try to be a blessing to people. It's not always. Everything ain't always rosy. There's a lot of things going on, but we all have blessings, and I look at the tagline I came up with a long time ago when we first started the morning shows, is in the title, Get Up, Pray Up, and Coffee Up. Because that's kind of what we're getting ourselves up. And we all have to do that every day, right? At some point we get up, and you have to get up before you can pray, or at least getting up and being awake. You may pray laying down, but you're getting up, you are praying. That should be the first two orders of business. And for us, we just doing the next thing was coffee, as it is for millions and millions of people across the world. I'm sure that it's about the same order, pretty close to it. Some might have been all the way up throughout the night. It might not have been. It might not have been just getting up one time. They may have been. Some people can't sleep, or they run to the restroom a lot, and that happens a lot as well. It's a very light day on National Day today. There's only two. It's National Plum Pudding Day. I don't even know if I've ever had plum pudding. I think I would say, doubting that on Hey Adele, God bless you. I am almost certain I've not had plum pudding. I'm not really a pudding guy. I can eat it, but it's not anywhere near my favorite thing to have. So I've always heard about it. I've never had it. If everybody's had that, pop it in the chat if you like it. I've just never had it. Never had plum pudding. So anyway, it's just something I've not had. It's also National Giving Hearts Day, and of course, this is talking about actually giving of your heart. And some people, you can also donate to charities. I mean, it has a couple things, but there are those people who have don't truly donated their hearts. Good morning to you there. We appreciate you. Prometheus. Appreciate you being in here this morning. But giving your heart, giving in charity. They have give-a-thons across the nation. But I also think of people have given their heart. Literally, people live. But again, we are to be a people of love and charity, and It's a blessing to give. All those things we could say, and everybody's been had tough times. Everybody's been down on, I don't like to say luck, but everybody's been down in life. There's things that have happened. I was reading about a guy online last night. He lives out in Arizona. He's a worker. He lost his job. Well, he got sick. He was in the hospital for 40 days. He lost his job. They laid him off. Maybe the company's having a hard time. He got a new job, but it's going to be 2 weeks before he starts the job for their reasons. That's just when. So he said, I'm going to be homeless starting today. It was today. And saying I'm going to be homeless for those 2 weeks or maybe he starts the job and he's going to be homeless for 2 weeks till he gets paid. Maybe that's what it was. But everybody was trying to figure out how to help the guy. I mean, he's like he works. He's not asking for handouts or anything like that. He's just the guy's. And there's a lot of people who get caught up in situations like that. And man, for any one of us, that could happen so quick. Like your life can change. Health is one of those that it take you out at the knees. It really can. And Lord knows we're kind of living that. My wife's health, she had, unbeknownst to us, 2 light strokes. We just noticed speech changes, like what's going on. And within 3 months, we are where we are. Now, I'm hoping we've stabilized and she can start getting stronger now. I think we're kind of there, but she feels a little stronger. But I tell you, it is really taking a toll. I mean, she's like fully disabled now. And, she had her, problems, but she did like anybody else getting around. She was already retired, but she, drove and shopped and, did things, cooked, all that. And then she goes from that to, I mean, can't communicate hardly, can't walk now, or, all those things. So it can happen to anybody. So you're giving of your heart, you're giving of yourself. And I live in a great area for that. I mean, all across the country, I think, and all across the world, a lot of people give, and a lot of people have big hearts who say they really give from the heart. But this southeastern United States, I'm going to tell you, I've seen it time and time again. When there's a need across our land, people in this area give. When there's been a major storm damage or something like that, tornadoes, hurricanes, even just whatever the need may be, and they put the 18-wheelers out there, and they put the challenge out to load up 18-wheeler. It's 18-wheelers, not 18-wheeler. These people roll out and by the droves to fill up, whatever the need is, or to give to that need or whatever, or get help, or to go help, be like on the ground, cutting trees, and clearing roads and all that. I live in a wonderful area. Sure, we got idiots that live here. I mean, I think everybody's kind of stuck with a few idiots that, but that's life. But for the most part, this is a very giving area, and that, and I can, again, some people may get caught in between. That's not to say some people right here might say, well, I was down and nobody helped me. And you're going to find those stories. But I tell you, a lot of people give, and a lot of people truly want to help. Now, I will say, a lot of people find out who their friends are when times of trouble come. True friends. I always heard you could count all your best friends, your closest, bestest friends on one hand. For some, they might be a little more than that, but that's generally probably true. If because when and I think about people like this guy that lived in Arizona, all of his family was deceased. It wasn't that they didn't want to help. I've known people like this. I taught in dealing with one of the jobs I do. I've dealt with some folks that were homeless, and sometimes, I mean, a lot of times it's drugs, alcohol, mental illness, all those things. Or just they wanted to be. They would tell you, no, I want to live. I don't want to live the rat race. I want to live on the street. But I have run into people, and they would say, this happened 6 months ago or whatever it was. My mom died. My health kind of went down. I lost my job. I lost a way to go, and I have nobody here. I was new to the area. I moved to the area, back to the area to help my mom, and there was only 3 of us, and now all of them are died, and I'm on the streets. I've heard that story more than once where people are down like that. So it happens. We live in the great land. Wherever you're at in the country, I think most of our listeners are probably USA, although we do have people across the world that tune in from time to time. So, but we are America, and we love America. We're very patriotic. America first, baby. Amen. But we have problems here, but it's a great place and great people. And I have had people help me in so many ways, and be so many kinds of blessings. And people generally want to help. I remember one time at our church. We were a small church. We were very small, and the um, unless the homeless in Central Florida until they made being homeless a crime. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they clear you off the streets, and Paul was telling me, Biscuit Boy was talking about them loading up people out of New York and flying them to Hawaii while the cold weather's on, and keeping them, from dying on the streets and stuff. But it's where do you live? I mean, if you're homeless, I mean, because everywhere it's illegal, there's very little public land that you can be on if they don't clear you out. So yeah, absolutely, you do see that, and it's tough. I've talked to a lot of them, and like I said, everybody's story is different, have similarities, but it's different. And I have seen successes. It's not many, but I have seen people get off the street. I knew a man and a woman. They had a kid, and they were living in a tent on the off ramp of the interstate. And this boy was getting near school age, and I was, they kept everything. They were all clean. They were all well fed. I mean, but they were living in a tent, and it was starting. This was summertime, but it was starting to move towards fall. And around the time of fall, he got a little job. This guy paid him to watch his lot. It was kind of a cash money kind of thing. Well, that little job helped him to get into an apartment, and then so off the street, and then he was able to get back on his feet. They had moved. They had came into the area, and then I don't know what happened, but they became homeless. I knew of a lady, and her dad used to be a police officer. He was dead. He had died, but her mom was still living, and her daughter was living with her mom. And I think some things had happened. I don't know what all happened. And the relationship got damaged a little bit, but she was highly intelligent, highly high IQ. And she was one of the few that would talk to me at first, because there's this code you just don't talk to. I was doing security. You don't talk to people in uniform. And she would tell me they gave her heck about it because she would talk to me. And I was encouraging her all the time. But what was she doing? She had the ability to get things going. And, a lot of times they'll give you a story like, I'm getting my ID back. I lost it. Now I'm going to get a job and blah, blah. Well, she actually did it. I've not seen her in, oh my goodness, 2 years now. So she either moved out of the area homeless, but I think she made it off because she was going to get enough money, go back to her mom's, eat crow, ask forgiveness and bring restoration there so she could be with her daughter. And she told me the problems that she encountered on the streets. It was, there's a lot of crime among the homeless. There's no friends. There's thieves all, and they'll steal everything you got. Your best friend, even sisters. I've seen sisters that would, they would steal from each other. So, things happen. They do happen. But and we're living in a time where it's very expensive. Think about. I was reading this quote from someone the other day. They said when I was in when they gave their age, I was in law school, and this was what my rent was. And I met all my obligations working these part-time jobs and stuff. She said, now I'm a lawyer, and this is what I'm paying for my rent now. And she said, now I can't hardly make my ends, meet because everything has went so high. It's affected companies. I go into financial meetings all the time for my company, and the cost of parts, and we're trying to find ways to cheapen that, to lessen that cost. Using 3D printing on some parts and all kinds of things, because things have skyrocketed. Things that were, we give you one example. One guy told me there was a part that was over $800 now for that part. And with the 3D printer, they made it for 75 cents. Think about that. $800. That's how much it has skyrocketed. I don't know what it started out at, but it was something that breaks many times a year. And they saved all that money with 3D printing. That's pretty amazing. But tariffs and different things that are going on. Again, not even being political, just this is real life. I mean, no matter what you feel about it, it has cause and effect. I mean, things happen, and sometimes parts, they're finding ways to get around those things. Like they're finding ways to get, like I think what happened is the big business was if a country has a tariff. They sell to a middle company somewhere outside that country, then sell probably into the country. Yeah, they actually take possession. That becomes their part, their whatever, and then they sell it under their name. I think that's probably happening a lot, because in a lot of stuff that we couldn't get that went up to $40,000 or something for a drive or something, some kind of a electrical part or something, we would go in through other countries, and I'm sure that would read because that was the only country we could get it at that time was China. I'm sure that's what they were doing. They sold to the because all of a sudden you start doing some searches like, oh, they got it over here. Well, where'd they get it? Well, I'm sure that it's probably a warehouse with an office, and they just flip the paperwork. And it's a middle guy. He makes his cut still, but the companies are still saving a lot of money from what it would be, and still making money in China. I mean, but it's crippling China. China's economy sucks. I mean, keep on playing hardball, but it does, and it's affecting them. We were playing on our pet show the other night. This is news of today, that because of the economy, a lot of people in China are turning to pets. It's cheaper. They just get a pet, and they're not having kids. So it is causing a lot of problems within their population is going down. There's still a lot of people there, lots and lots of people, but it was going down. Birthdays today. There's quite a few in today that I wanted to recognize. Whether you like them or not, that's not the point. It is just a famous birthday of people that you would know. Abraham Lincoln was born on this day in 1809. Let's see here. Some of them I skipped, so I don't care for them. Christina Ricci, actress, 45 today. Josh Brolin, actor, 57. Bill Russell, the great basketball player and basketball announcer, born in 1934 on this day. And someone who caused a lot of problems. It's ridiculous because all of his things came up false, but whatever you want to say. But Charles Darwin, born on this day in 1809. Interesting. I didn't know that Abraham Lincoln and Charles Darwin were born the same year. Didn't know that. Look up the day on that. John Michael Higgins, 62 today, actor. Michael McDonald, boy, what a voice. 73 years old today. The Doobie Brothers, his own career, back to the Doobie Brothers, those great hits. Some of those I just love, Minute by Minute. Oh my gosh, I love some Michael McDonald. Anybody else today? Arsenio Hall is 69 years old today. Arsenio Hall. I remember the show, right? And maybe one more, Michael Ironside. Yeah, 75, movie actor. Seen him in lots of things. That's your birthdays today. If it's your birthday, God bless you today. Have a great birthday. Canada has tariffs that stop American milk and cheese from being profitable to American producers. Yeah, it cuts both ways, man. And I'm one of those. At some point, it has to be. You want it to be a level. We hear this term level playing field. Well, it will never be completely level, but you do want it to where people on both sides of that can make it's a little bit level. It's pretty a lot closer because it was getting ridiculous on some of the tariffs, but Canada and the U.S. have got to just get to terms and this back and forth. We've got to help each other, and I mean honestly, people say we don't need Canada. Well, they are. We need to help each other. That's our neighbor, and work together on those things because it's important. That's a landmass that's between us and invasion force from the north. So we talk about Greenland. Yeah, that may be strategic important, but Canada is very important. Let's work with Canada, strengthen them up, and I don't know what you do about Mexico. We're just going to have to bomb the crap out of the cartels and create a buffer zone. And create our own area of defense because I don't think they can do it anyway. But I have no problem with them bombing the heck out of the cartels. Not the people, the regular people, but these cartels are killers. So I have no problem with that. Our small town shout out today. This is neat. I've never been to this area of Pennsylvania, Milton, Pennsylvania, and I was actually going to choose another town in Pennsylvania as our small town shout out. But I tell you what, when I see a place that has the statue to Chef Boyardee, I'm in. I am absolutely in. And I see on the screen, let me see if I can share that. This is dang cool. My granddaughter still likes her some Chef Boyardee, and I'll eat it from time to time. I like that. Share screen. Let's get this statue up. That's cute, man. That is cool. Like, there he is. The hat and all. I love that. I didn't know that was out there. How cool is that? Oh, let's see. Milton is located on the Susquehanna River. I probably said that wrong. And Milton has both river views and rustic art, local picnic and paddle at Milton State Park. 82 acres of meadows and trails where bald eagles sometimes circle overhead and wildflowers line the paths in late spring. The island section of the park feels almost hidden from the world, a quiet pocket of nature where the breeze carries the sound of rustling leaves. Well, somebody really put this in there. Let's see. And then history buffs can spot the statue of Chef Boyardee, honoring the town's link to culinary legend Hector Boyardee. Hector Boyardee. It's spelled different than Boyardee on the can, but Boiardi. That's cool. I never knew that. I wish I had. I don't even know if I came close to Milton when I traveled through Pennsylvania. I was up there a couple of times, but yes, I have, broski, a little bit. I've been watching articles about the independence movement. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen though. Not to America. It may happen on their end, but it's not going to become a part of America. I just don't think that'll ever happen. But maybe they'll get their independence. I mean, there is a huge fight to that. They're trying to get to that point. I'm not an expert, but I have been reading things on it. It's a big movement, but I still have my doubts that'll ever happen. I really have you know what? Because people of power squash people when they try to do things. Point in fact, war between the states. How many states seceded from the Union? And they had a legal right to do it. And what happened? And who's in our birthday march today? Abraham Lincoln. What did he do? He raised 75,000. He put out a call for 75,000 troops to put down the rebellion. It wasn't a rebellion. It was a secession. So I don't know. Sometimes this happens, but I don't know. I have my doubts. But we'll see. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying I don't know. Till I see it, I think I'm going to be in doubt a little bit. You say Milton is in the middle of nowhere. Well, I need to look up the story of Boyardee. I didn't really know that part of the story. I mean, I'm guessing he came up, he was, culinary. I get that. But where was he from? Was he born here? Did he immigrate here? What was his story? So that's a very popular brand. A very popular brand. I'm going to have to do a little research on that. What part of the state is it in, broski? What is it like, upper, lower, western, eastern? But yeah, I'm going to do a show about this Alberta independence. I'm going to do a show. Just let me get caught up on some other ones. I've got one I'm going to do on Jonestown. A little bit different slant on Jonestown. I've just been itching to get that in. And I've got a couple other little stories updating some things I want to do. A couple of those won't be on location. It's difficult right now, but we're going to make it happen as soon as I can. But just because right now to go, which it's not too far. My wife could probably make the journey. I think we could probably get that in, maybe. She would love it. Not, I just worry about taking her too far. So I've got about an hour trip to do one, and maybe about an hour and a half on the other one to do that story. So maybe she'll be okay. We'll ask her about it. But Milton, when I think of Milton, I always think of Milton, Florida. I stayed in Milton, Florida once at this church, and the pastor was a retired Navy. And so everything in his pastor's office was like, he had like all things nautical. It was really cool. But I've been to Milton, Florida a few times. I didn't even know there was a Milton, Pennsylvania when I saw that this morning. I was actually going to go with Greensburg. There was actually the town I was going to go with. I've never been there either. But I had that's the one I was looking at. And I just happened to pull it up. And I saw that statue, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's my town today. That's cool. I like giving these city shout outs. If that's your town or in the middle of nowhere, as Broski says, shout out to you. It doesn't matter. We covered way back in the day 2 Egg, Florida, and there ain't nothing there. So the idea was to give, small, very, almost not even, it's not even officially a town, spots all the way up to mid-sized towns. They're not really meant to give the big cities shout outs. It's these cities that never get attention, So that's really, I started that over a year ago. I just thought it was a cool thing to do. And I enjoy talking about them. So a little, what I was thinking, when you put your address on your letter, mail, whatever, and you put your town, that's your town. You write it thousands of times in your lifetime. You're addressing things, you're putting your address online, you're ordering things in. and it's your town. You don't think much about it. It's your town. But what does that mean? Like, and I think about this when I put down Rossville. Like, I don't live in the city, but I still live in the a Rossville address. So we call it Ross Vegas down here. But nobody would know that probably if they hadn't been here or have family here. And I think about people, they're thinking, what's in Rossville? Well, it's a small town, but it has a history, a manufacturing history, and it's a border city to the state of Tennessee. In fact, part of Rossville lies on the other side of the state line, and that is, how close I am to the state line. And I can go just up the street and be in the city limits of Rossville. It's not far. I'm sort of in between two cities here. I'm just in a slither of land as county, right in between two. And that's my town. So when I go to a town and I just Milton, if we was going to go to Milton, somebody lives there, and somebody they appreciate their town and what it has to offer. And so I just think about that. All these little towns and hamlets and holes in the wall, or whatever you want to say. There's something there, and somebody lives there, and it means something to them. They have a history there. They were born there. Their family may be buried there. Broski said, I just looked it up. It looks like an hour north of Harrisburg, so central Pennsylvania. I may have drove fairly close to it because there was a couple of places that I was in, and even Broski says he's never been there. If I ever go, I'm definitely looking. I'm definitely finding that statue. I'm taking a picture with that. I do want to go back to Pennsylvania because I definitely want to go to Gettysburg. Oh, there's the granddaughter this morning. Hello, Kaylee. She never wants to be on screen. No, I'm not answering questions. So if you're photobombing me just to get me to answer a question, I'm not going. Teenager. She's up and early though. I'm glad to see that.
We leave at 6:50.
Dressed. Okay, we'll leave early. So don't worry. She's saying I got to be at school at a certain time. Oh, is that your dog?
No, it's us. But it won't work.
Oh, it's us. We got to let it for a minute. Let the light change. It's not showing. It went off. Let's sit there for a second. Let's sit there. I can't even make out what is. It's supposed to be me and her. It's not showing up, Kelly. We see a blast of light. We got to hold it still. There we are. Oh, you're showing that goofy. Get out of here, kiddo. You goofball. You see what they do to you? They put you up and say, hey, let's take a picture together. Then they take the picture, and then she makes it look all crazy and goes,
it's a filter.
And yeah, I will filter. I like to filter you. And then she puts it as my background on my phone. So I'm like at work. I'm like, I'm not leaving that there. So, but I do have a picture of her on my phone. And I said, this is a much better one. That's the one that I chose of us, of her. So, but homecoming was a good picture. But anyway, Kaylee and me, it's a mess.
Me and Ari are almost ready, so hurry up.
Okay, hurry up. Yeah. Okay, boss.
Oh, it's cold outside.
This is the world I live in when I'm not in the studio. She's been with me for over 12 years. So unfortunately, old man, she looks at things in a very different way. She is also a mouth, as you can tell. But she will be the one, I believe, of all the people in my family, and there'll be a lot of them fight for me. I always say, if I was laying on the hospital bed, the one that's going to fight for me the most is that little girl right there. She's going to be the one that's going to be in the doctor's face and going, you're going to do everything possible. She's going to fight for life. I'm telling you, that's the girl. She worries about me. Oh gosh, are you okay? But she looks at things in a very adult way, mature way, even though she acts goofy as a teenager. She noticed, she's very observant. I taught her to be very observant. She notices everything. So like she did, we've all done it. Like middle school, which was junior high for me, all of us walked because it's so close to where we live. We didn't like the bus, and she does the same thing. It's like the fourth generation or third generation of us that have done that. And it's very common in this neighborhoods. A lot of kids walk, and people look out for the kids. But she's very observant. She'll call me on the phone, and if there's anything that a little hinky, she will call me and and let me know. And she'll get to. We know people, and she'll get to there. Just if something don't feel right. So she really looks out for herself. She'll be 14 this year, but I used to walk. I even walked to high school once, and that's a little bit of a trek. I walked home. I didn't want to walk there, but I walked home from high school many times. I mean, buses are mean. You know what? That's a battleground. Buses. I've had to ride them, and I've had to stand my ground. There's always that jerk, and his little posse that thinks that they run the school bus. So if you've ever ridden the school bus, there's always been that moment. I'm sure Broski had that in Philly. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you rode a school bus, but everybody's had that moment where they've had to stand up, and you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, yeah, you messed up today when you thought you were going to run over me. I've had we had a transfer in from California, some kid. I'm trying to think of what his name was. Oh gosh, he was not a very big guy, but he talked big, and he had a little posse behind him, and they were terrorizing people on the bus, of course, near the back of the bus, and he thought I was gonna be his dude one day for that, to show out to other people on the bus, and he let's just say his story lessened after that day, and I was fully prepared to lay into him, and I never had to throw a punch. The guy melted. I challenged him in front of everybody for the punk he was. They didn't think I would do it. They had no idea. Don't mess with a quiet guy. We're not looking for the fight, but if you bring it to our street, it's on. Because he said, I'll mess you up. I said, bring it. I said, just know this, you're going to get everything I got, and I'll fight in any way I can to win. But if you're ready, do it. So you're going to have to make the first move, because I'm telling you. And he melted. He picked on somebody else. And after that day, he didn't quite have the same stature. He didn't really have a big stature anyway. I knew it. I absolutely knew that story was going to come out. I was just waiting. Hey, you what? You're going to be challenged, and you have to stand up. Hey, the first day of school, I'd been told on the bus, wait till next year, by the high schoolers that went ahead of us, and they were telling us all the stuff they were going to do. Us, oh, when we get to high school, it's on, and I always love those little terrorists that had a little posse. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So the first day of school in high school, I'd just been let out of assembly. I'm going to the first class on the first day as a freshman in high school. Somebody punches me in the shoulder so hard, it almost knocked me down. But I caught myself. It infuriated me. And what infuriated me about it was this. When I turned around in rage, I even got more rage because the dude took off. I saw a little blur running into a classroom. I was the quiet dude. I'm telling you, full on rage. I went to the door of the class. I've said this before. And I called him out. I said, where did he go? I didn't know it at the time. It was a senior class. And they were like, oh, shut up, freshman. Who you got? I said, no. I said, some punk is in this class. I just didn't quite see who it was. Punched me in the arm, and they weren't man enough. They were cowardly. They wouldn't stand there and get the response. And I said, if that's what you are, as you know, I thought he was a sophomore. I thought it was a sophomore class, honestly. If that's your idea of, because I heard it all last year, how y'all were going to be all over us freshmen when we came to high school. If this is what you got, don't even talk to me, because you're just a bunch of cowards. And I just took off. Well, I didn't know it. That was a senior class, and it freaked them out. And people said, you better leave that guy alone. And I even had people that were seniors on the football team that I didn't play football, that became kind of friends with. I worked with a guy too that also was friend. I never had one problem in high school. I'm telling you, nobody messed with me. And I didn't have a fight in high school. I did in elementary school, and I did in middle school. Or junior high at that time. I never had a fight in high school. Broski said he busted his lip wide open. Well, I bet his friends are like, wow. I love that terminology. The little terrorist that had a little posse. Hey, us guys know what it's like. I don't know about on the girls' side. Hey, it's all the girls now fighting. Kaylee tells me all the stories about all these girls, these rogue wild girls, pushing, slamming girls into lockers, pushing them down the steps and the stairwells. And I saw one. I'm telling you, dude, if times have changed, in front of my house, these like two girls met, and there was an adult standing there and like four other posse members, And this girl is like threatening even the adult. Like, are we going to get this fight on or what? I'm talking middle school. Dude, it's a different world today. A different. Jerry said I was hit one time so hard I actually went to my knees, and when I turned around, it was a girl that hit me. We became friends. Oh well, you got the man. You had them country strong girls, man. You had them country strong girls. Oh man, that's not your wife, is it? Oh no, she'd have never hit you. I don't know though. Maybe she's just trying to get your attention. Say, I like that guy. I want to hit him. Yeah, everybody's had the, and it's always the tag-alongs are nowhere near what the person is that's going to do the fight. They're riding on their coattails, and when you blow up the leader, they just they don't even back their so-called friend up. They will say, hey, I'm not involved. Hey, leave me, don't bother me. That's him, not me. I mean, they all cave. They're just a bunch of followers. That's all they are, and that's what happened that day on the bus. The guys looked at him like, hey man, they were trying to encourage him like, hey, hit him, let's go. And the guy said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm gonna get this guy over here. And they looked at each other like, oh, he's not our leader anymore. But they didn't want to fight. They just wanted to watch him fight and stand in the posse. Can't stand that. You know what? All these entertainers, they're just athletes, and they're paying a full ride for a bunch of tag-alongs who are most times they're trash. They're just sorry, low down, but they'll tag along this posse. The posse eats up all their money, profits, and everything. They ain't doing nothing, not providing anything other than being a little group of people to run around with. And then when the guy blows through it all, and they'll help him do it, oh, they're in the wind, they're gone. Are you kidding me? Get rid of these people. My posse, come on. What is the Larry? What was the guy for the Charlotte Hornets? You probably know this, Broski. $68 million he made in his basketball career. Played for the Charlotte Hornets. He went flat broke. $68 million he made in his career. Total stupidity. And was, again, living high, carrying all them people with him. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And he's not the only one. I mean, it's a sad story. But yeah, when you got money or position or power or whatever, they got all these people, they'll show up. They're ready. They're saying, I'm with you all the way. When it dries up and when it's gone, it's over. It just bothers me. I always had friends, but I didn't run in cliques. I never have. Not even in ministry. I've got friends. I never run in cliques. I didn't identify into this group or that group or whatever. I was always in between all that stuff. I was friends with people in all kind of different groups. Groups of where people went to Bible school. I got friends in many denominations and all this, and you got those people they won't be friends, but with people in their own denomination. Like horse hockey. That's the best way I can say it this morning. Oh yeah, it was the same one. I thought something else popped up. I think that's a good one though. I'm willing to put that on the stage twice. But it just amazes me, and we see that. I'm sorry. I was Fax Porcupine in the house, and I appreciate you. Yeah, I said it is restaurants only last 500 days in China. They're closing like crazy because their economy is in bad shape. Canada-United States relationship. They connected with China. Fax Porcupine is in New York City. I think he lived in the city, right? Yeah. And so he's firsthand knowledge of things up there. I appreciate him popping in. If you're on Podbean, give him a follow. But yeah, it's absolutely their economy sucks in China, and people don't realize it. And of course, those dictatorships and communists and all that, they'll just keep pouring into the war machine. And the people, they don't care if they suffer. But it's that amazing. I thought they still had that rule that you could only have one kid. It got so bad they've had to take that rule away. But now people are out of the habit of having bunches of kids, and so the younger Gen Xers and stuff, I mean, they're like, I don't have kids. I'll just get a cat or a little dog or something. And they're not, it's like it's hurting. Even though there's still a lot of people there, their population's coming down. And after time that'll start hurting you because you need workers if you want to become and the same stupidity happened in America where people said the world is overcrowded, and so America has been averaging. That's why they wouldn't want to tell. That's why they wanted immigration. One of the reasons, not all of the reasons, but they were only averaging 2 kids average, and you can't sustain a population with 2. That's what they don't tell you. It takes a little more than that. So you need bigger family sizes. Having 2 does not sustain the population, and your death rates will be higher, and your population will go down. And then you're in a situation like we are now. It's hard to find workers and good workers, and it becomes very difficult to get help to run a business. And and it doesn't matter what you can make it even be profitable. If you can't get workers, then you're done. And then you're offering, you're having to offer bonuses and stuff to get people to leave this company over here. And that's what they do. They'll show up at a store. They know they'll go near where a factory is. They will show up at outside the door, and they'll be talking to people coming in, seeing their badges and stuff, and saying, "Hey, would you like to come to work for us? And we'll give you a sign-on bonus and all that, and a little bit more money on the hour." And then they pluck your workers away. Then you're doing the same thing and trying to figure out how am I going to get workers. So, but yeah, and China opened up a vast amount of land. The company I work for, we do have a plant in China. It does very well. It's not a huge plant, but it's in we have a small niche in a market in that part of the world, and that's a manufacturing plant for us. They opened up this middle of nowhere valley, and there was nobody living there. I mean, they had to build like dormitories and all this stuff because they just built a bunch of manufacturing, and at the place where what they do is they bring in by train all these workers. They stay 6 months and they live in the dormitories, and then they, work in those factories. Then they'll flip, and these go back for like 6 months. I don't know if every one of them's like that, but I know it's like that for ours because there was there's just no housing there. Like there was no families there. It was just an open space. They had to, I don't even think it was accessible at one time. And China did some things, opened up some areas. And I can't remember the province that it's in, but it takes a little while to get there, I understand. So, I'm not. When I say that, I'm not saying they'll keep pouring in, but they are ahead on some things. I get heck for that when I say that. I had a guy in here. I was talking about China one day and their military and stuff like that, and this guy just blasted me like I was an idiot, saying, "Oh, they've got outdated weaponry. They don't have this. They don't have that." No, you better watch them. I mean, definitely, I agree with you, Prometheus. I just, it's something that we have to pay attention to somebody that hates your guts, right? I don't trust them. Never have. These people are evil. The leadership of China. I'm talking about the leadership. I mean, look what they do to their own people. I don't trust them. I don't trust Russia either. I don't care if all the people want to get on here and get on the Putin train, and they love Putin. They want to prop him up. I don't like the guy. Don't trust him at all. He's KGB, and there's no hero fair for me. I don't like him. I don't like Zelensky. I don't like these guys. Don't trust him either. I'm not right in the middle of that. I'd like to see that thing over with. I don't trust either side. I think they both belong in jail, honestly, of what they've done in their own countries. But actually, they deserve worse than that. But we'll leave that somewhere else. But yeah, I don't. They are. They're wanting to be the big boy on the block, and they're doing a lot of moves to be that. Our politicians are all. Many of them their pockets are lined with China money. I mean, the Clinton Foundation, a lot of their money comes from China, or it did in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure. They're not going to admit that, but they got deals like Saudis. They got deals, I'm sure, with China. Don't get busted for it. What does the Clinton Foundation do? Does anybody know a project they've been involved with that money we could actually say they did something? If they did, I wouldn't say anything. It's their right to make money on a foundation. Everybody does it. I mean, come on. But they, what initiatives has this foundation done to justify their status as a foundation and all that. What have they done? There's a lot of great foundations in America. They've done a lot of stuff to help people to get things done. And I know for a fact foundation money has came in and helped a lot of situations in our area. Sometimes you don't see it right away, but I have been able. There's been like some foundations will group up and they help meet a need. But what is the Clinton? What help is the Clinton Foundation gave American citizens? I would just like to know that. And Jerry says, I didn't know. I don't know if this younger generation can afford more than 2 children. Well, yeah, they can, Jerry. I mean, it is difficult, but I'll tell you why, and you'll know this. I mean, look at missionaries. How many missionary families and they have bukus of kids, and they find a way, right? They find a way. Is it difficult? More difficult today? Sure, but they will find a way. I mean, they homeschool the kids, they're very industrious. I mean, they may even make the clothing for the kids, whatever. But they find a way, right? They do find a way, and they never have enough money. I mean, let's face it, they're never fully supported as missionaries in most cases. Well, sure. And that's why I said everybody's got one, but they do. But there are foundations that do, with money that they've received, they do help. And I know that for a fact because I've worked with on committees that have worked with foundations to get needs met. Does that mean that there's money flowing, and protecting that? Well, sure, that's going on. But I can say that in this area, there are foundations that have helped a lot of things, a lot of people in a lot of situations. We have that old money here, the old family money, and of course they're doing that. But at the same time, I live in a very giving area, and as I said at the beginning of the show, there are people here that is always ready to give, and yeah, there are those that are doing that, but they do give into initiatives in the community, and so I just know that for a fact. So you approach, they give, and that, at least we got that. So. But yeah, it's follow the money, as they say. Follow the money. You'll always find out the true story, right? They keep the Clinton brat spoiled to the point with which she is accustomed to being spoiled. Absolutely, my friend. What has she ever accomplished in life? She is like she's on the board or the head of it, right? I mean, what has she ever accomplished in life? With all that she had at her hands. I mean, what is her claim to fame other than being the child of? Really? I mean, as she went out on her own and did anything has she done anything that you could write a book about and go, this she did on her own? This was her claim to fame. No, I don't see it. I mean, what was she a part of? She was a journalist or something at one time? Come on. Remember, she was coming out defending her mom and all that, just railing. She didn't even come across as even liberals couldn't stand her. I mean, let's face it, they don't like her. She's not a likable person. Yeah, I just wow, what a messed up family, straight out of Arkansas. Not Compton on this one, straight out of Little Rock. Arkansas was more than happy that the Clintons moved on. They had caused enough trouble across Little Rock to last generations. That's tough, man. Oh, aren't you just glad they didn't have any more? I mean, I don't know. Bill might have some out there somewhere, but from what we know, there's no more. I mean, at least not with Hillary. This guy back when Arkansas, he was using, it's kind of like Kennedy, right? He was using the state police to like hustle in and out the girls and stuff. There's all kind of stories. The investigations were being done by the lawyer group, the legal group that she was attached to. And they both lost their law license at one time. I mean, that's as damaged as they really got when they should have went to jail. But Oh, I don't know on that one, Watchman. I've never looked into that. Web Hubble, I'd have to look. I really don't know that, but oh, she was never the looker. We know that that marriage was an arranged marriage. I mean, it was all using each other. I still remember one of my favorite moments. It was just funny, watching when she won her Senate seat, right? And this is after the Monica Lewinsky stuff, and they're all standing there on the stage, and Bill's got her hand, and they're walking out, and she slaps his hand away. It's like, let go of me. This is my moment, you fool. He just stands back there smiling. She didn't want him up there beside her, and she's become like the victim now. Like, oh, her bad man out there, doing bad. Like she didn't know all that was going on. I will, Watchman. I will. You up there playing that saxophone. Have you ever seen a video of them going to, what was the guy, Ron Brown, that died in the plane crash or whatever? There's controversy on that. And they're going to his funeral, and he's walking up the walkway to the church or the chapel, and he's laughing. And he sees the camera, and he instantaneously turns on the tears. Have you seen that video? Rush Limbaugh used to show that one often when he had the TV show. They should be in jail now for not showing up to their examination. Well, sure, I agree. She should be in jail for Benghazi. 100% Benghazi. She should be in and not just some regular little softy lockup. She should be at Supermax. She should be able to look out a window that only sees the sky. She can't even see landmarks. I mean, that's where she should be. Maybe both of them, but for what she did there, my gosh, I mean, horrible. but Rush Limbaugh, I used to love. His TV show. I wished it lasted longer because you got to see. I would watch the camera when he was in the radio studio, but when he had that TV show, that was so funny. The looks he could make. Oh my gosh, he would make Lib so mad. Because then he could show you images, like he would show videos and stuff like that. Drove the liberals crazy. They wanted to drive him into the ground. I mean, this guy, he'd just eat him alive. And he was a rich guy. He come from he made a lot of money. And hey, that's the American dream. He made a lot of money. Hey, you know what? If Fax Porcupine up there in New York, you can make a bunch of money. I'm proud of you, man. Go for it. I hope you just explode. And I root on all people that have doing some sort of entertainment or a show or whatever it is, radio, podcast, TV. I don't care, man. Do it, man. That's the American way. Make some money. Just don't step on other people's backs to do it. And hopefully help others along the way. And we appreciate, like our good friends at Horseshoe Coffee. Horsepower. So that's a horseshoe. My mouth is not working today. Horsepower Coffee. We've been working with them, trying to help them along. And y'all look them up on Facebook. Horsepower. Oh, I said horseshoe. Brent, I'm sorry. Yeah, Neil Bortz. That's another one. I used to enjoy listening to him too because you were. I'm sure he was all over the airwaves down there, being not that far from Atlanta. But Neil Bortz, yeah. I have seen that. I have seen that, Watchman. Yes, I do know about that young man. Seemed like he's wasn't he conservative or something? Like I can't remember on that one, Watchman. Oh well, I do got to get off here, take all the kiddos to school, and get things rolling this morning. It's been fun being on. Y'all make your donation to the Clinton Foundation. Make your elections today. Get your go. I'm sure they got a donation button on the. Do they have? I wonder if they do. I'm gonna look that up. Does the Clinton Foundation have a donation button on their website? I'm gonna look that up. I have never been. I'm gonna look that up today, but not at work. I'm gonna get in trouble. But I am going to look that up. So and tonight, Wolf Nation, Biscuit Boy in the House, Cornbread Nation. 2 very fun shows to do. We have a lot of fun with those. We'll see you tonight. Enjoy your day. God bless. Pray for each other. The check's in the mail. Everybody should be writing them a bill. No pun intended. Have a great day. And we'll see you this evening, Lord willing. And may your day be blessed, safe, and filled with laughter. Absolutely. Laughter doeth good like a medicine, and I enjoy doing the shows. And thank you, Facts Porcupine. Man, I tell you, my mouth just not want to work today. And we appreciate everybody. Like, follow, share, all that good stuff. It helps us out. Our numbers grow often. Thank you, Desi, for the like as well. Blessings to you all. Salute. We'll see you tonight, this evening, 6 o'clock sharp, Eastern time.